Thank you, Holly. Okay, good morning. Yeah, I am fortunate enough to speak to you guys right before lunchtime. Isn't that awesome? So hopefully your stomach grumblings will not distract me. Okay, so my first introduction to the people traditions of Ghana was actually through a children's book about a boy named Emmanuel Ifusu Yeboah. Emmanuel was born with a deformed leg, and despite the circumstances and hardships that he would face in life, his mom, Comfort, told him that he was named Emmanuel because God is continuously with him. And in addition to that, she told him that whatever you want to achieve in life, you must work really hard for it. It may be more difficult for you, but you still must work and be steadfast and be committed to God and serving him, and through that you will accomplish your dream. And so Emmanuel is known in Ghanaian history for having traveled via bicycle from one part of the country to the next in only 7 days. And he did this and became a national hero. And so this was actually my first introduction to Ghana. Very soon after, I was charged with the task of leading a mission experience to Ghana. And so, of course, one of the things that strikes me as a missionary is just what is the purpose of a missionary experience? What is the purpose that you're trying to fulfill? And so there are three major things that I always align with a mission experience. One is just allowing God to speak and lead you to whatever it is that you're supposed to be working towards. But the second is this idea of listening and receiving the gifts that he has shared in order for you to be really receptive to the experience. And third, which I feel is the culmination of the first and the second, is this idea that you must be so transformed by that experience that it becomes an unavoidable truth in your own life experiences. And that transformation is shown to others through you. And so it is with these things that I went to my first missionary experience to Ghana while I was here at Baylor. And I was transformed. But I have to admit, if I'm being honest, I had traveled to continental Africa a few times prior. I'd been to different countries. And from the research that I had gathered about Ghana, the things I'd read, and also just talking to people about the experience, I went with some misconceptions. And so I had an idealistic thinking about the people, the traditions, and this idea of what a rural Ghana experience would be. And so one example of that is just this idea that the people were tremendously poor. Ghana is known as a developing nation or a third country. And so this idea that strife amongst poverty, dilapidated conditions of schooling, that was something that I had known through what I'd read. And when I got there, I was completely transformed by realizing that it was only my conceptions and preconceptions about the place. They were actually the richest people, richer than you and I combined, that lived there. And so I'm thinking about the book, The Table Where the Rich People Sit by Baylor. And he talks about you cannot put a price on seeing the sunshine every day. You cannot put a price on understanding God's work and seeing the richness that exists in our lives. And so I'm thinking about Madam Grace Achia, who's a dear friend of mine, who is also a school teacher at the school we worked at. And so she has transformed my life, and I'm so blessed to be able to say that we're still friends today as a result of my first experience. Now, the second time I went, it was a recapitalization of the idea that I had listened to God and I was ready to receive those gifts. And one of the ways I was ready to receive those gifts is an undergraduate student of mine decided she wanted to return. And not only that, she wanted to work on a children's book with me to tell the story of the people of Ghana, or at least the people that she had interacted with the first year round. And so we were able to co-write a book called The Children of Chirikrum. And one of the things that was most impactful for me was just to be able to see the look on the faces of the children who may have not had mirrors in their homes, may have not been able to look at themselves, but to see themselves in a book that they knew was in a completely different country, that people were reading about them, knowing their names. It had a tremendous impact on the students and the teachers. And it had a tremendous impact on us because this was one of the ways in which we were able to essentially give back, but also continue the narrative and possibly dispel some preconceptions about the area. So we found ourselves in this second experience also trying to introduce literacy practices to the children. And so we found another book called One Hen, which is about a man named Kwabena Darko. And he used 87 cents, which is equated to about 23 cents here in America. He used 87 cents as part of a community small business loan. He bought a hen. The hen had eggs. Then he sold the eggs. With the money he made from the eggs, he bought more hens. And this cycle continued. He was able to put himself through school. He was also able to become the largest poultry farm in the nation from this one small loan. And so this idea of richness, it's not just transferred about the love that the people have for their community and the sense of pride they have for the nation. It's also transferred through the works that they show by doing God's work. And so this is also a great segue into some of the research I've done. As I've experienced Ghana and learned and been transformed, I've also conducted research on looking at the literacy experiences of children in Ghana. And one of the things I was interested to know was the forms and purposes of why they read. If you aren't aware, the literacy rate for the country is 72%. However, that number drops significantly in rural parts of the nation, as low as 14% in some areas. And so I was interested in finding out, why is it that rural students have lesser outcomes of going to secondary schooling or even college? And what I found was that the experiences of reading start and they're transformed. English is the official language of Ghana. And as early as the third grade, students are taught and they are expected to communicate, write, and speak in English. And while we see that as a powerful thing for them to be globally connected and competitive, we also notice that that's a deficit in terms of helping them to reaffirm their own cultural identities. And so these are some of the ways in which I've been able to connect my mission experience that is very spirit-filled to my own research agenda here at Baylor. And so one of the things that I also want to share is that while we were there, we were able to participate in community health fairs, and we were able to learn about the healthcare system in Ghana. And so a lot of the students were greatly impacted by understanding diseases that are communicable and ways of prevention while we were there. And I guess the biggest thing about our mission experience to Ghana was not so much that we made a tremendous impact on the people we served, but that the people we served made a tremendous impact on us. And so it's with this sentiment that I encourage you to explore missionary experiences while you're here at Baylor and beyond, because it's not only something that is fulfilling a purpose within the narrative of the university or within your spirituality, it will forever transform and change the way you think about others as well as yourself. Thank you very much.